So that's what I said, Shabazz. So what's up?
But you're not making it.
I am making a point. If you let me finish, I would finish it. Stop interrupting me.
Because you're not saying nothing.
Because you keep interrupting me.
Go ahead, finish it.
We are back. Race Bannon here, author of the book, Stop the Pussification of America. And yes, it is available on Amazon. Let me do the YouTube thing. Remember to subscribe to the channel, knock that notification bell. Give me a big fat thumbs up and a comment is always appreciated. Let's get right into it. Why? Today's topic, women become highly emotional and easily triggered at the hint of a man wanting a DNA test upon the birth of a child.
Dear AMS, what's your stand on mandatory DNA testing for kids? Lately, I've been very paranoid about unknowingly taking care of another man's child and then finding out years later, ... Man's not Santa?
Yo,
This should be mandatory. Because it's
but
like
if you're not
this.
slinging your dick around, then you won't be scared about
Right.
who's
It's
pregnant
It's
by
It's not about us.
You may have
It's
had a
like
partner right before me.
Exactly.
Or
I think that the United States making DNA testing mandatory is stupid. I don't think that, it's something that if you feel like you need a DNA test, go do that on your own time because you feel that way. I don't think every person, there's millions of people in the United States. Like, it doesn't make sense that people could be using that time to do other things. Like, you could be saving a life. You could be in a hospital saving a life.
So it's like, if a woman is claiming you to be the father of the child, you may, let's say you're not with that woman, which that happens a lot, in today's society. There's some doubt that this is probably not my child, but instead of, confronting it on both ends where I feel like it should just be a mandatory. Don't tell somebody the father of the child, but you know that there's a doubt, like if you had slept with someone in between.
I mean, you can avoid the doubt by going by God and getting married. And
But we're talking about real life.
Do that, though. What do you mean real life? Marriage is real life.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
no,
all right,
but
Sandy,
like,
all right, Sandy, now we're talking about human nature. In real life, what actually happens,
What?
A lot of people
in a
have
practical universe, what actually happens,
Especially in the
mistakes
Western
happen.
I think men have the right to know for sure,
God
but
bless you.
it's definitely,
Thank you, Gerald.
no
Please
problem,
let me know.
guys. No problem, guys.
No, like,
It's
that's not
insulting, though. I mean, I think men definitely deserve to know it. It's their right. Just like if a woman's like out there like that, she deserves to know who the father is as well. But I think it's definitely insulting if you're in a relationship and you're married and your partner wants you to have a DNA test.
No, it's more
that
insulting.
ain't straight.
No,
When that
but see,
kid not yours, that's
the kid's
way
not
more
yours, so you
insulting.
raise it. It's like, you raise it, and that's that's your
18
child
years.
at the end of the day. But if
we
you had
together.
known that and you had that,
You can still cheat.
you didn't give that person that decision.
I feel like if you're in a marriage, you're happy, you're having babies, and it takes a lot to get to that place where, you're having babies with someone if you're responsible. For the question to be asked, can you take a DNA test? I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Like, what did we go down the aisle for? What did we say those vows for? If you're not going to automatically know that this baby is yours.
Again, guys, remember this. Women feel, men think. And we are not asking the female to have a DNA test. We know the child is yours. The DNA test is just between the man and the child. I think it's in the UK, England specifically, and leave me a comment down below if I have this wrong. They used to have mandatory testing at birth, and I believe it was as high as 30% in some instances where the husband was not the father of the newborn. Divorces ensued, and then these children became welfare recipients, the woman and the child, which now the taxpayers had to be on the hook for all these women cheating. And again, women are usually not held accountable for their actions. So they made it to where you have to ask the mother for permission to have a DNA test. And as far as going down the aisle, what did all that mean? Well, when women, about as high as 80%, maybe 85%, are initiating the divorces because they apparently feel like they became bored and feel like they were unfulfilled in the marriage, file for divorce. So I think it's very rich of her to say, what did going down the aisle mean when up to 80% of the divorces are filed by women?
So this is what what I'm going to say. I think that y'all want this to be mandated because of a conversation you are not strong enough to have with your girl. 1. 2, you requesting DNA, first of all, this is a very gendered question, right? There's no way for a woman, well, let me not speak for every woman. For me specifically, there's no way if my man came up to me, I wouldn't feel some type of offense. But fine, if you have the right to know whether it's your child or not, because I know this is my child, right? But to say that it's mandated is where I have a problem. Who is picking up those costs? The U.S. government? The U.S. government should be paying for these mandatory tests for you to know. No, first of all, we have so many issues in this country already. To then place that type of payment on the U.S. government
Just
is
add it
wrong.
to a plan.
No,
Just on your healthcare plan.
no. And first
Check
of
the
all,
box that you filled.
Well, that escalated quickly. She became highly emotional, very argumentative, easily triggered about this topic. She lacks the capabilities of having a civil conversation about this. And the woman to her left, on my right of the screen, is rolling her eyes as well. I don't know if she's rolling her eyes at the topic or at this woman's explosive nature. Interesting, too, is that woman thought the government was going to have to pay for it.
If you want a mandatory test,
Which I do.
You pay for it
Which
yourself.
I better get.
You pay for
I
it
got the money for it.
So that's
I'll pay for
fine.
it.
That's fine. So
I'll
let's
pay
make it
for
clear.
it.
So let's make it clear.
Because
If
you know that a lot of
let me
women-
finish my sentence.
All right, go ahead.
Let me finish my sentence. I personally pay taxes, and I care about where my money goes. I'm not here to pay for so-and-so because there's a confusion about who's the father. That's not my business. Handle your personal shit. And for me, I want to fund schools. I want to fund the MTA because the trains are never on time. We got bigger problems. We have bigger problems. I'm sorry. I'm not paying for no mandatory tests. When you're saying mandatory requires everyone to do it. Not everybody can pay for it.
No,
That's you're adding stuff. You're adding stuff. Hey man, let me finish my shit. When you say mandatory, that includes people that are having children that don't necessarily have the money to pay for this test. A mandated thing is going to be covered by the government.
So that means if you can
So
afford it.
if you can't afford it, but you're not. But here's my thing. So the U.S. government is going to take care of it. We have too many other issues that are way more pressing than you knowing the fidelity of your relationship and whether that be your child. If you personally want to check for your child, that's you. But to say that it's mandatory across the country, that's crazy. And it's inconsiderate. And it's mandating it across the country. Understand the effects of what that's going to be.
Versus a quarter
Are completely different things. So when y'all wilding talking about when you're wilding saying that it should be mandated for the whole country when there are so many other issues that we have to attend to because of your personal issues with your girl.
All right, again, she's fixated on all the taxpayers. Everyone's going to have to pay for the DNA test. And that's a false equivalency. Her argument does not hold water, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if you're in America and you have a motor vehicle, each state of the union mandates you have car insurance, at least liability insurance. It's mandated by law. Your neighbor's not paying for it. People across town aren't paying for it. People across America aren't paying for it. You, the owner of that motor vehicle, pays for it, and it's mandated. If you have a home loan, that bank is going to mandate you have some type of insurance. Your neighbor's not paying for it. All of America's not paying for it. If you purchase a gun in most states of the union by a gun dealer, you are mandated to have a background check. You have to pay for it. Your neighbor's not paying for it. People across town aren't paying for it. All of America's not paying for it. You are paying for it. It's a false equivalency. And I don't know why she's fixated on all of America has to pay for it. And she's doing it in a very argumentative, highly emotional state. So something else must be going on in her head. And what is the cost of a DNA test? $200 or $300 maybe? Hey, if you don't have a few $100s for a DNA test, do you have enough money to raise that child? It reminds me of a lot of single parent mothers who want all the taxpayers via public school system to provide their child with breakfast in the morning because either that single parent mother is too lazy or doesn't have 15 cents for a bowl of oatmeal in the morning for her kid. And if a single parent father was too lazy to make his kid breakfast before sending him to public school, or didn't have a lousy 15 cents for a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast before sending him to school, what does society, what do females call men like that? Deadbeat, good for nothing, lazy fathers. But if a single parent mother did the same thing, do we call single parent mothers those same things?
It was directly gender related. A man is asking that question. If you're outside, that's another big thing because everyone's right to do. They were single, whatever. But when you're with somebody, the person that having questions about if they're the father of that child, they go through the rest of this child's life taking care of it. And if that was me, like yeah, after 18 years, it's not gonna turn your back on the child. But if I had known from day one, I'm out.
Hold up, pause. First of all, women take care of children that aren't theirs all the fucking time and don't make a big ass deal about it. Pause. This is no.
What you saying? You're saying that.
I am saying that.
But you have a choice. You know that. You know that's not your kid.
Pause. What I'm making a declaration between is the fact that this is a personal problem that you have with your girl, and you're making a country responsibility when we have other things to tend to first.
If it's not mine, I'm walking away. That's it. That's it. Nothing else to talk about. If you're just talking about what I'm gonna do, I don't know what they gonna do, but I'm out.
I don't think there's any issue with a man taking care of another man's child. Women do it all the time, whether you know or not. He might bring another child and say, "Oh, I had this out of our wedlock. You know, what are we gonna do?" Or he's taking your money and paying child support to another family. You had no idea. So when we're just like jumping, like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that." Hold on, it's already being done.
Again, she's highly emotional here, and I'm going to tell you how her logic is flawed and how it's a false equivalency. Because most males do not want to raise another male's offspring, especially unknowing that it's not their offspring. And her saying women do it all the time. Yes, women do raise other men's children, but they knew in advance the child was not theirs. And you have that choice. Just give the males the same choice with a DNA test if the child is not theirs, whether they want to raise it or not. Because I believe most women know that if a male's been lied to, he doesn't want to raise another man's child. Also, too, she makes a very bizarre statement that women give money to men that are then given to another family that the woman giving the money to doesn't know about. Are you kidding me? What type of men is she used to dating, or her girlfriends used to dating, where that's been seeded into her mind? Remember, guys, you are the master of your life. And if you want to be successful in dating women, you have to understand female nature. If you like this content, remember to subscribe to the channel, knock that notification bell, give me a fat thumbs up, and leave me a comment or two down below if you agree or disagree. Until next time, I am Race Bannon, and I'm out.